This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so let's discuss about views. So as part of this native HANA development, as a ABAP HANA developer, we are going to design the HANA database. Okay, so designing the HANA database means we are going to create what different database objects. Okay, so just like we have tables, sequences, procedures, functions, triggers, column views, we have something called as database views. Okay, so let's understand the purpose of this view. So it is almost similar to our database views in our SC11. Okay, in SC11, in our normal ABAP, in SC11 we have different types of views: database view, projection view, maintenance view, and what help view. Okay, here also we have a view called as database views. So we already know the purpose of views in any database. So views are what? They are virtual tables. They are virtual tables which are created on top of what? One or more database tables. Okay, they doesn't exist physically. Views cannot hold the data physically. The data in the view will be populated in the runtime. Okay, so whenever we try to access the data from the view, it is going to execute the select query based on the base tables of the views. So views are virtual tables which are created on top of what? One or more table. So why do we create the views? Views are created to implement some security measures like hiding the original database table name, hiding the original column name, and restricting the access to what table data. So in those cases, we are going to create the views. Whenever you want to hide the original table name, original column names, and whenever you don't want to expose the complete table data, if you want to give the access to the limited data of the table, we are going to create what views. Okay. So in this ANA database also, this views we can create either by what SQL statement, or we can create it by using what UI, user interface. So first let me create the view using SQL statement. So if you observe here, let me open the session for our schema. So right click on our schema, I'll open the SQL console. Done. So this is a schema open for our, this is a SQL console open for the schema then software. So as part of our schema, we have many tables here. Yeah, one of the table is E underscore department. Okay, so if you open the definition of this table, it has got some 5 columns. It's got 5 columns. Do we have data in this table? Yeah, we have the data also. So let me create the view based on this particular table. This table has got some 5 columns. I want to give access to all these columns, and it has got some 6 records. Okay, let us give the access to the entire table data. So original table name is E underscore department. So how do you create using SQL statement? You will say create a view, create a view. I'll give the view name as something EMP underscore view. Okay, create a view name as select star from what? E underscore department. So E underscore department is a base table which has got some 5 columns. So based on that table, I'm trying to create the view. So create a view name as the select star from table name. So when I execute that, the view got created. So if you observe this in our schema, if you expand these views, we have a view called as EMP underscore view. Okay, so just like how do you query the data from the database table? We will use select statement, select star from EMP underscore view. So we are trying to read the data from the view. As I told you, view doesn't hold the data physically. So whenever we execute the select statement on the view, internally select statement will be executed on the base table. So this view is created based on which table? E underscore department. So it is going to execute the select statement based on the base table, and that data will be populated in the runtime. So let me execute this. Yes, we are having the data. So in this case, our view also contains 5 columns. It also contains a complete table data. Okay. So I don't want to give access to the complete table. Means I don't want to give access to all the table columns. I want to give access only to what? A few columns. EMPID, employee name, and what? Salary. Out of 5 columns, only for 3 columns you have to give the access. So how do you create the view? We'll say create a view. A view name is EMP underscore view2. Okay, as select. So earlier I gave star here. Now I want to give access only to the few columns. So EMP ID, select EMP ID, ename, and what a salary from E underscore department. Okay, so we are giving access only to what? Few columns. This process is called as projection. What do you mean by projection? Selecting the required fields. Okay, is called as what? Projection. So let me try to create the view, execute. The view got created. Let us query the data. Select star from EMP underscore view2. F8. So I'm getting the data only for the 3 columns. So we are able to project the required fields, select the required fields. This process is called as a projection. Okay. So if you see this EMP underscore view2, it also contains what? All the records, 6 records. Now what I want to give access to only those records. Okay, I want to give access to only those records where salary is what greater than 25,000. Okay, I want to give access to only those records where salary is greater than 25,000. So how do we do it? Create view emp underscore as it as view3. Let us give access only to the 3 columns. Here I'll give a where class. I'll say where salary is greater than something 25,000. So this process is called as what? Selection. Okay, selection means restricting the table data access. I don't want to give access to the complete table data. We are giving the limited access, and that is done by using what? Creating the view using what? Where class. So when I execute, the view got created. Let me query the data. The view 3. So I got 3 columns and only 3 records where the salary is what? Greater than 25,000. So what is the meaning? The database which you are creating, it supports both projection and what? Selection. Projection means selecting only the required fields. Selection means giving the access to only what? Limited data, and that is done by using what? Creating the view using where class. So it supports both projection and what? Selection. And here what I want is, if you see this EMP underscore view3 also, the column names are what? EMP ID, ename, and what? Salary. So these are the original column names. Okay, I don't want to expose the original column names. I want to give the what? What? I want to change the column names at the view level. So let me try to give. So the actual column names are EMP ID, ename, and salary. Okay, so here I'll say create a view emp underscore view3. We are giving access to how many columns? 3 columns. So here As part of this view, let me provide the column alias names. So I'll say EID, any names. You can give any names, EID. I'll give this as EMP name, comma, EMP sal, EMP sal. That's all. Okay, EID, EMP name, and EMP sal. So let me try to execute this. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got an error. Cannot use duplicate view name because already a view is there with the name what EMP underscore view 3. So I'll give it as EMP underscore view 4. Execute. Right, the view got created. Let me try to query the data. EMP underscore view 4. Done. Okay, so the column names are changed. EID, EMP name and what EMP sal. So what we have discussed so far is we have seen how to create the database views, ANA database views using what SQL statement. Okay, and we understood that database use supports both projection and what selection, and at the view level we can change the column names also, right? And so far we have created the view referring to only one table. We can create the views by referring to what multiple tables. So if you don't want to use joins in the select statements, okay, so as part of procedures and functions, we might use a select statement containing what joins. So if you don't want to use joins in the select statement, we can create the views based on multiple tables and then refer to that particular view as part of your procedure or what function. Okay, yeah. So let me try to create the view here. Let us take some, okay, if you see the view section, and these are the views we created. Now let me consider some other tables. Yeah. So earlier we have the tables my underscore employee and my underscore department. These two tables are what logically related. They are logically related. So let me open this. My underscore employee. It has got some 5 columns, and my underscore department has got some 3 columns. What is the logically related field between these two tables? DPT number. Here we have DPT number. Here also we have a DPT number. In this case, the column names are same, but the column names need not be same, but there should be a logical relationship between the two tables. So here, what is the logical relationship? There can be any number of employees working in the same department, and this table will store what unique department values. Right. So I want to create a view based on these two tables, my underscore employee and my underscore department. Yeah. So see here, let's say create a view. What are the views available here? They are the views available. So I'll say create a view. I'll give the view name as EMP underscore department as select. Okay. From the department table, I want to give access from the employee table. I want to give access to some 3 columns like employee number and what employee name and employee salary. Okay, 3 columns. I'll say select EMP number, employee name, and then what salary. Okay, then from the other table, I want to give access to what department name and what location. So I'll say department name and then what location. Okay, from what are the table names? First table is what my underscore employee, my underscore employee. I'll provide the alias for this. Let me give it as something E. My underscore employee as E. Okay, we have 4 types of joins. We have seen that inner join. I'll use inner join. I'll give the table name as my underscore department. For this table also, let me put that. 1 second, please. 1 second. I'll switch on the charging. Yeah, my underscore department as D, and obviously we have to compare what the logically related field. So also on what E dot department number on E dot department number is equal to what D dot department number. E dot department number is equal to D dot department number. So you have to compare the logically related field using what on statement. So from the employee table, I am giving access to 3 columns. From department table, 2 columns, department name and location, and for the tables, I am giving the what alias names, and I'm comparing the logical related field by using what on statement. So let's see whether the view is created. F8 cannot use duplicate table name emp underscore department. Okay. Okay. So here if you see, if I refresh the views, I don't have any view name with emp underscore department, but probably I may have a database table with the name what emp underscore department. So if you see here, yeah, you can see we have a table what emp underscore department. That is the reason that we are having the problem. Yeah, you can see we have emp underscore department table. That's the reason it is not allowing me to create the view. So I may not require this. Let me just delete. Okay. It has got some dependent objects. That's the reason I'll choose what cascade. So when I choose cascade, what happens? All the dependent objects related to this table also gets created. If I choose restrict, if there are any dependent objects, it will not allow me to delete. So that's the reason I'll say choose cascade. It might got deleted. Now I'll try to create this view. Fetch invalid column name. I got a different error. Invalid column name e underscore department number. So probably in the on statement also I gave this as what in double quotes. So might be it is checking for a column with the name what e dot department number. That's the reason it is giving me the error. It is giving the error. So what I have to do is I need to in the on statement let me try to remove the double quotes. Okay, if I use double quotes from year to year, it is assuming that is what same column name, but we don't have any column name with that. So I'll go like this. Done. Let me try to create. When I execute, yes, the view got what created. So if I refresh, done. The view is created. Let me query the data in from the view. Yeah, this is the data I got. So 3 columns from employee table and 2 columns from department table. I'm using what join here? Inner join. Inner join. So inner join means it will pick up the common records between the two tables. Done. So what is the common field between the two tables? Department number. So let me try to create another view. I'll create another view. Create a view emp underscore department 2 as a select. I want to select department number. So department number is available in what both the tables. Since it is available in both the tables, okay, let me try to give only department number here. department number. Okay, I don't want location, so I'll remove this. Right, so I'm trying to select department number, but this department number is part of both employee table and department table. So when I try to create this F8, yeah, I got an error. Column ambiguously defined. Since department number is part of multiple tables, it is unable to understand from which table it has to pick up. So here I want to pick up this department number from the department table. So I'll say D dot department number. So probably again this might give me the error because it will consider this as a column name. I don't have any column with the name D dot department number. So this also I will get an error. Yes, invalid column name D dot department number. So here I need to remove the double quotes. Okay, done. Let me try to create, execute. Yes, the view got created. So if I try to refresh, emp underscore department 2, again I'm using inner join only, but I pick the common field from one of the table. So if I open the data preview, yes, I got department number from what? Department table. Done. So working fine. Okay, can I pick up the department number from both the tables? Yes. So if you want it from both the tables, let me give the view name as emp underscore department 3 as a select. I want it from employee table also. So here I'll say e dot department number. What is the column alias? What is the alias name for that particular table employee? E. So I'm saying e dot department number. This is d dot department number, and this is the view name. Done. Let me execute this. Incorrect syntax near so and so where I think I have to separate with comma na? So I have to give comma there. Done. Let me execute. Cannot use duplicate column name department number. Good. So I got an error. I got an error here. We cannot use what? Duplicate column name. So we know that a table, a view cannot contain two columns with what? Same name. It cannot contain two columns with the same name. That's why this is giving me what? Error. It is giving the error. So I'll do one thing. Let me keep it as it is for your reference. I'll give the view name as emp underscore department. What is my agenda here? I want the department number from both the tables. So since I want the same column from both the tables, for one of the column, a department number, I'll give some alias names. I'll give it as a D number. I'm just trying to change the column name. So done. When I execute this, yes, the view got created. So earlier why we got there is we are trying to pick up the same department number from both the tables. So it will try to pick up the same column from both the tables. So a table or view cannot contain two columns with what? Same name. That's the reason from one of the table I am changing the column name. So if I refresh emp underscore department 4, it got created. So if I open the data, yeah, D number and department number. The content would be same, but the column name is what? Different. Right? So we are able to create the view based on what? Multiple tables. Can I drop the views? Yes. How do you drop the views? We'll say drop view. What is the view name? EMP underscore department what? Something 4. EMP underscore department 4. Let me execute. Yes, it got created. Okay, so the view is what? Drop. Now let me try to quickly create the view using what? UI. Okay, I want to create the view using UI. So done. So let me try to create here using UI only. So we have these views. Let me refresh. Okay. Yeah, these are the custom tables which I created. So let me try to create the view. I can create it anywhere. So what is the default, what is the configured schema to our application server? If you want to see that standard tables, you can make use of which schema? SAP ABAP 1. So in this SAP ABAP 1, if you see, yeah, we have the standard tables like VBAK, VBAP, all those six. So I want to create a view based on VBAK table and what a VBAP table. So I want to create it using what UI. So I'm in this schema SAP ABAP 1. So if I go to view section, 1 second, let me refresh. We have many views here, no problem. So let me quickly try to create a view based on what VBAK table and VBAP table. So how do you create? Right click on the views. I can create any in like on based on custom tables also I can create. Since I want to use a standard tables, I'm doing it in SAP ABAP 1. Yeah. So how do you create? Right click on the view, and here you can see we have what a new view. We have what new view. Right click on the views and say new view. Yeah, it is going to open the editor something like this. I'll give the view name as something. Since I'm creating using UI, let me start with the Z. Any name you can give. I'll give it as something Z sales view, something Z sales view. So here I have to create the view based on how many tables? Two tables, VBAK table and what? VBAP table. So how do you do that? Just right click on this empty editor. Okay, this is a empty layout is there. Right click on this. Somewhere you have what? Insert what? Tables. Insert tables. Yeah. Okay. It is showing me which schema here? ANA schema. Because the logged in username is what? ANA. Based on the logged in username, what is the default schema? ANA here. But I want to use VBAK and VBAP table. They are available in which schema? SAP ABAP 1. So here let me change the schema name to what? SAP ABAP 1. I'll choose SAP ABAP 1. Done. It will take some time to list out the table names. It will take some time here. It is listing out, but it will take some time. Let it take. Yeah, you can see it is showing me the. It will show the different tables. Okay, I'm not interested with that. I want to check for what the table starting with VBAK. So I'll say VBAK percentile. Wildcard character is what? Percentile. In our ABAP environment, we'll say VBAK star. Star indicates what? N number of characters. So you'll say VBAK percentile. Let me refresh. Yeah, it is showing me all the tables starting with what? VBAK. So I'll just choose what? VBAK. Say what? Okay. Yeah, it will take some time again to show that particular columns. Let me just try to adjust this. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, this is the VBAK table. Where is that? I'll do one thing. Right click on this. I'll say auto arrange. Yeah, it is auto arrangement. It will adjust according to the layout. So this is my one of the table. What VBAK. I want to I want to select one more table. So again, I'll right click on this empty layout. I'll say insert what tables. Insert tables. I'll give the table name as again what is the schema? SAP ABAP 1. SAP ABAP 1. It will take some time. We need to wait. Yeah, it is showing me all the tables. So I'm interested with what the table starting with VBAP. So again, I'll use this what searching here VBAP percentage. I'll say refresh. We have only one table to VBAP. I'll just choose that. So I got it. So let me adjust it properly here. Right. Let me right click on this. I'll say auto arrange. Yeah, it is properly arranged. Now what I have to do? I need to what? Link these two tables. So if you are doing it using SQL statement, we are comparing the logically related field using what? On statement, and it specify the join, whether it is inner join, whether it is left outer join, whether it is right outer join, whether it is full join. Okay. So here also, I want to link this what? Weblen with what? Weblen of this VBAP. So just you have to drag and drop. Yeah, I'll just take that. I'll just drop it here. Done. Yes, you can see. Done. It is dropped here. Okay, I'm comparing the logical related field Weblen here. I can see right hand side here. It is asking me the join type. So we need to specify the join type. I believe if I use none here, it is nothing but inner join. Let me just click on this. Yeah, you can see it is showing me none, left, right, and what? Full. Left order join, right order join, or full join. None means what? It is inner join. By default, it is what? Inner join. Let it be inner join only. Done. Okay, so these are my what? Join condition. I need to select the fields. What are the fields you want to show? You have to select that field. So how do you select? I okay, right click on this column. Yeah, right click on the column, say what? Select. Yeah, I got Weblen here, visible. And I also want ERDAT. Right click on this, say what? Select. Okay, here I want ERZDT also. Right click on this. Sorry, I'll right click on the ERZDT, select. So I want three columns from VBAK table. Then from VBAP table, from the VBAP table, I'll select POSNR. Right click on this, say what? Select. Yeah, it is visible. Yes. Then I want MATNR also. So I click on this MATNR. Also what? Select. Okay. So overall, I selected what? 5 columns. Right. So this is Weblen done. VBAK.Weblen is equal to VBAP.Weblen. I'll just auto arrange. It is showing me something like this. No problem. I'll just okay. No problem. So these are my what visible columns. Let me try to execute this. Execute. Could not complete, cannot use duplicate view name. Acha, acha, acha. Might be in this schema, I already am having a view with the name what? Sales view. So I'll try to do one thing. I'll try to make it as Z sales view 10. Let me try to execute. Yes, the view got what? Created. It is successfully created. Let me try to check here in SAP Web 1 only. I'll right click on this. I'll say filters. What is the view name? Z sales view 10. Z sales view 10. Yeah, you can see we have the Z sales view 10. If I open the definition, if I see the data, yes, I got the columns from what? Two tables. Three columns from VBAK table and two columns from VBAP table. If I open the definition, yeah, this is a definition of my view. Okay. If I go to create statement, yeah, good. At the background, you can see it has generated some create statement at the background. What is the join it is using here? Inner join. Inner join. Okay, done. And here also I can just use drop statement for dropping the view. So I'll just summarize this. What is the view here? A database is nothing but what? They are the virtual tables created on what? On top of one or more database tables. Views are created to implement the security measures like hiding the original table name, hiding the original column name, restricting the table data access. We are going to create the views. Okay, and we know that view doesn't hold the data physically. The data in the view will be populated only in the runtime by executing the select query on the base tables. And we understood that we can create the view using SQL statement or using what UI. And we also understood that the database you whatever you have created supports both projection and what selection. Projection means selecting the required fields. Selection means restricting the table data access. That's all. And this view can I use in the ABAP layer? So I created the view. Can I use it in the ABAP layer? Means directly I cannot use it in the ABAP layer. This view we have to access, we have to consume inside a procedure or inside a function. And then as usual, we already know how to call the procedure from a ABAP layer. Okay, we have to create the proxy, all those things. There is going forward, we have a concept called as ADBC. By using this ADBC framework, yeah, by using the ADBC framework, we can consume the view also. That we'll see later on. I repeat, this view I cannot directly use it from the ABAP layer. If you want to use it from the ABAP layer, is one solution is you consume this view inside a procedure, and then we can consume the procedure in the ABAP layer. Otherwise, if you directly want to use a select statement on this view in the ABAP layer, we have to use a framework called as ADBC framework. Using that ADBC framework, I can refer to a database table, or I can refer to a view, or I can refer to a procedure that will come under ADBC framework. So any questions related to this views, please ask me.
Sridhar, I have one question. Srinivas, this one.
Yes, you
Uh,
must tell me.
yeah, but you created, view, but here, we can return as a, you can write as a where condition for.
Yeah, you joined late. I covered that initially. So if you
Oh,
see here, I created the view here. While creating the view, I use the where class. So this is nothing but called as selections.
okay. Yeah, thank you. Sorry for that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. That's what I said. View supports both projection and what selection. So here you see, I don't want to expose all the columns. So I'm giving access only to the limited columns. And
Okay.
then I don't want to give access to the complete data. So I'm restricting that by using what where class. So this is nothing called a selection. Database use supports both projection and what selection.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Others, any other doubts? Okay. Now let me go for another database object here. 1 second. Yeah, let me go for indexes. Again, this is same as what our normal ABAP. What is the concept of indexes? So if you take our normal, our ABAP level, okay, we create indexes on what database table. 1 second, 1 second. Yeah, same thing here also, Akshay. That's what you can see. Initially I told views can also be used to avoid what joins in the select statement. Instead of directly using joins on the top of database tables in the select statement, we can create the view on top of that multiple tables by using joins and refer to this view in the select statement. Same here also.
Sir,
Yes, Lakshmi.
sir, in core we have a option to edit the database table data by using the view, right? Here also is it possible, sir?
Sorry. Can you
In
repeat?
core, In core ABAP, we have a projection view so that we can, by using that view, we can able to edit the database table data.
Okay. Okay.
Here also, is it possible, sir?
Okay. So yeah, I'll come to the point. So what you
Okay.
are saying is you have created a view. Let me take a view here. Yeah, I'll take one view here like emp underscore view. Okay. So one second. Yeah, I don't know whether you people observed or not. So just observe here. Let me go back to that schema SAP above one. So in this schema, just I created a view. What is that? Z sales view 10. Okay. So if I refresh, hmm, if I open the definition here, this view I created based on what multiple tables, na? VBAK table and VBAP table. And if you see the what SQL statement generate the background, at the end you can see we have an option called as what with read only. With read only. Okay, keep that in
Yes.
mind. Now I'll go to my schema Gensoft HANA. Here also I created this view emp underscore view. This view I created on what? One table. So if I open the definition, if I open the definition, you can see these are the view I created based on only one table. If you see the create statement, do we have any with read only option here? No. So what is the meaning? It supports if you create a view, if you create a view based on one table, the maintenance status can be read and change. If you create the database view on multiple tables, the maintenance status is always read only.
Yes.
You understood, Srilakshmi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this case, the view is created only on one table. That's why I don't have any addition called as with read only. Means the user can modify the data at the view level. The user can insert the data at the view level. Obviously, those that changes will go and reflect in the base table. But if a
Yes.
view is created on multiple tables, the status is always read only. Means I can only read. I cannot do other DML operations. Any other doubts? Do we have time? Yeah. So see here, let us discuss something called as indexes. So if you take our normal ABAP also, we create what indexes on the database tables. Okay. So why do we create the indexes on the database tables? To improve the performance. Okay. So we know that if you take our ABAP layer, uh, in SAP compulsory, I'm talking about the application server. Whenever we create any table, or if you take any standard table, every table should have minimum one primary key. Na? Compulsory, a table should have minimum one primary key. And based on that particular primary key column, SAP will automatically create what primary index. Okay. So in every SAP table, whether it is standard or custom table, you'll have minimum one primary key. Based on that primary key column, SAP by default creates what? Primary index. What is the job of that primary index? Internally, it will arrange the data in an order. Internally, it will arrange the data in an order so that whenever we try to execute the select statement comparing with that primary key column, internally SAP will make use of that primary index for faster access of what data. So as a developer, we don't have any control on what primary index, because the primary index is automatically created by SAP and automatically maintained by what? SAP. And that primary index will be used whenever we execute the select statement comparing with what? Primary key. So in your project, there might be many scenarios where we have executed the select statement comparing with what? Non-primary key fields. So to improve the performance of those reports, one of the technique is we create what? Secondary index. We create secondary index on what? Non-primary key columns. Here also, sorry, one second. Yeah, here also, one second please. Yeah, here also what we are discussing, yeah, we can create the secondary indexes here also. But here already we know in our ANA database I can create a table with or without primary key. If you create the table in SC11, compulsory you have to take what, at least one primary key, otherwise it will not allow me to create the table. But in case of this ANA database, we have a provision to create the table either with primary key or what, without primary key. But generally most of the times we'll create with at least what, one primary key. So based on the primary key column, what happens, SAP will what, automatically create what, primary index. For example here, one second. Yeah, I'll take this table only. One second please. Yeah, I'll take this table E underscore department. Do we have any primary key columns in this table? Yeah, you can see we have EMP ID. Oh, no primary key is there. Huh? Okay, no primary key is there. One second. I'll try to preview the data. Okay, there are no primary key columns here. So I'll do one thing. I want to check whether there are any indexes available in this particular E underscore department table. Okay, I don't have any primary key columns in this particular table. So what I'll do is, let me use a select statement. So I'll say select star from, select star from. So already we have seen we have some system views. Like if you want to see the constraints, if you want to see the constraints, we have what, one view called as constraints. If you want to see the foreign key constraints, we have a view called as referential underscore constraints. Similarly, in a schema called as sys schema, we have one view called as what, indexes. So I'll say select star from, what is that view? What is that schema name? Sys dot. We have one view called as indexes. Yeah. Select star from sys dot indexes, or else let me try to show you that schema first. Yeah, you can observe here. We have a schema called as sys. If I expand this, yeah, you can see under views. Let me search for, yeah, you can see I'm searching for views which are having indexes keyword. So if I right click on this indexes, if I open the definition, then we have a view. Okay, this is a view given by what, SAP itself. It is available in which schema, sys schema. What is the definition of this table, this view? It has got some columns here. Some of the columns you can see schema underscore name, what else, table underscore name. So keeping this view in mind, I'll say select star from what, select star from sys dot indexes, select star from sys dot indexes, where what, schema underscore name equal to, schema underscore name equal to, what is that, gens of tana, and what, table underscore name equal to, what is the table I'm interested with, E underscore department na? E underscore department. Done. Let me try to query. So I repeat, as of now this table doesn't have any primary key columns. So my understanding is, since I don't have any primary key columns, it should not show me any indexes also. Let me F8. Good. You can see here when I execute that select statement, it is not showing me any indexes. Now what I'll do, I'll try to what, already the table is there. I'll try to give the primary key. So this that I can use alter statement, or here I'll try to select this, or else I'll use alter statement. What is that table column, EMP ID na? Do you have any duplicate data in this table? No, I don't have duplicate data. Let me try to create the primary key. How do you do that? Alter table. Alter table. What is the table name? E underscore department. Add. Add. Add what? What is the column name? EMP ID. EMP ID. I'll say primary key. Is the syntax is correct? Alter table. Table name. Add what? So and so primary key. Let me try to execute this. F8. No. Incorrect syntax near so and so. Alter table. Table name. Add. Is it add or alter? No, 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 no. What is the syntax?
Constraint.
Add constraint, right? I forgot. Alter table, table name, add constraint, constraint name. I'll give it as what? EMP ID. Okay, EMP ID underscore primary key. Primary key. What you have to say? Primary key. I believe in the parenthesis. You are doing the column name. Huh?
Yeah. Uh,
Let me check this. F8. Yeah, the primary key got created. What is the constraint name here? EMP underscore PQ. So already we have discussed this in the initial classes. Okay. So if I refresh my table definition, yeah, primary key constraint is added for what? EMP ID. Now what I'll do, I'll try to execute this indexes, select start from sys.indexes, and I say F8. Good. So I can see it. So what is the understanding here? Based on the primary key column, based on the primary key column, there is an index available. What is that index here? Unique index. Okay, just like if you take our normal ABAP, we have two types of indexes: primary index and what? A secondary index, right? Primary index and secondary index. Primary index is what? Which is automatically created by SAP based on the primary key columns. Secondary index we create explicitly based on what? Non-primary key columns. Okay. So here also by default based on the primary key column, a unique index is what? Created. Done. Now what I'll do is I'll do one thing. I'll do one thing. Let me try to drop the primary key. So my understanding is when I drop the primary key, it should also drop me the indexes. It should also drop me this indexes. Okay. Let me check. How do you drop a primary key? Alter table, table name, e underscore, and what is the type of index here? Unique index. Remember the type of index. Index type is what? Unique. Okay. Done. So alter table, table name, e underscore department. How do you drop a primary key? Drop primary key.
primary key.
Drop primary key. So when I execute this, primary key might have been dropped. So if you refresh this, sorry, if you refresh, yeah, it is dropped. Now what I'll do, I'll try to query these indexes and I say F8. Good. What happened? The unique index is automatically dropped. Now what I'll do is I'll try to create the unique index. Even though I don't have primary key column, I'll try to create the unique index. How do you create? So if you take our SC11 on the application toolbar, we have a button called as indexes. I can click on index and we can create the secondary index. So here I'm trying to create what? Unique index. Create unique index. Acha, before that, I'm sorry. Let me check whether I can create the index using UI. So I'll go back to my schema, Gensoft now, right? These are indexes. I'll just right click on this. I'll say new. Yeah, you can see I don't have the option called as new here. So what is the meaning? I cannot create the index using UI. Using UI. So let me try to create using SQL statement. So as of now, if you see, if I expand this, uh, yeah, I'm having some index and so on. So just ignore it, no problem. So here I'll say create. How do you create index? Create unique index. Create unique index. I'll give the index name as something idx1 on which table e underscore what department. Create unique index idx1 on e underscore department. In the parenthesis, what is the column name? emp id. Let me check. When I execute, yeah, the index got created. So if I refresh, yeah, the index got created. What is that? idx1. idx1 on what? E underscore department itself. Let me try to query this. F8. Yeah, you can see now the unique index is what? Index type is what? Unique index. It is obviously like what? Unique constraint. So what is the concept of unique index? It doesn't accept but duplicate values. Okay. So it is going to arrange the data in an order based on which column? emp id. Okay. Already we have seen how to drop the index. No? We have not seen. Let me try to drop the index. How do you drop? Drop index. Before I drop, I'll do one thing. This is the table now. So I created the unique index on which column? emp id. What is the data type of this emp id? Integer. Good. Now what I'll do is I'll try to create unique index on what? Employee name. Do we have any duplicate employee names first of all? When I refresh, no, I don't have any duplicate. I don't have any duplicate employee names. Okay, I'll try to create the unique index on this. What is the data type of this ename? N varchar. I'll try to create the unique index. Create unique index. I'll give it as something idx2 on what? E underscore department. What is the column name? Ename. Ename. Column name is what? Ename. But the data type of this is what? Character. Remember, n varchar. Let me try to create the unique index. F8. Okay, the unique index got what? Created. Okay, the unique index got created. Let me try to refresh. F8. Yes, the unique index got created. Done. Okay, it is showing about two unique indexes. I'll do one thing. I'll try to create unique index on salary. What is the salary here? Decimal of 15 comma 2. Do you have any same salary anywhere? No, I don't any same salary. Let's try to create the unique index. Create unique index idx3 on so and so. What is the column name? Salary. Done. Let me execute. It is created. Let me try to query this. It is showing you what? Three indexes. Done. So what I'm trying to show is I am able to create the unique index on integer column, on character column, as well as what? Decimal column. Keep that in mind. Okay, let me try to drop the index. How do you drop? We'll say drop index, just like we'll say drop view. We'll say drop index. As of now, it is showing how many index here? It is showing me three indexes. I'll try to drop idx3. So drop index idx3. That's all. When I execute, the index might be dropped. If I refresh, yeah, index is what dropped. So this is about what? Unique index. Okay, I'll just summarize this unique index. If your ANA database table contains any primary key column, based on the primary key column, automatically SAP will create the unique index. Means internally, it will arrange the data in an order based on that primary key column. As the name itself suggests, unique index doesn't accept about duplicate values. As a developer, we can explicitly create the unique index on what? Non-primary key columns also. We can explicitly create the unique index on non-primary key columns, and that columns can be of any data type. Okay, and what else? And where we can see these indexes, we have an predefined scheme. We have a predefined view called as indexes. In which schema? Sys schema. I can check the indexes available on your table. Then how to drop an index? By using what? Drop index. Now what I'll do is I'll try to create another type of index called as B tree index. If you take our ABAP layer, we have the classification like primary index and what? Secondary index. Here we have unique index. Then we have what else? B tree index. Okay. One is unique index. Unique index. Another is what? B tree index. Binary tree index. Another is CPB tree index. CPB tree index. Some abbreviation is there. What is that? Yeah. Compress prefix binary tree. Complex prefix binary tree. So what is that? We'll understand shortly. So I'll try to create what B tree index on which column EMP ID. I'll try to create what so and so. So yeah, one thing you have to observe here already there is a unique index. Try to understand there already is a unique index on which column EMP ID na. Okay, I'll try to create another type of index on the same column. I'll try to create another type of index on the same column. So I'll say create. How do you create the B tree index? I'll say create B tree, create B tree, B tree index. Yeah, create B tree index. I'll give the index name as something IDX4, IDX4 on what is that? E underscore department in the parenthesis. What is the column? EMP ID. But remember, already there is a unique index on the employee ID column. I'm trying to create another type of index on the same column. So when I execute this, when I say F8, good, good. What is the error I got here? Invalid index name. I give IDX4. Anyway, IDX4 is not there now. The IDX4 is not there, but you can see here column list is already indexed. Good.
Field names.
Means already the index is available. So I'll do one thing. I'll try to drop that index first. Drop index. What is that? IDX1. Huh? Yeah, I'll drop index IDX1 F8. The index is dropped. Now I'll try to recreate this. I'll try to create. Now it should allow me. When I say F8, good. It is allowing me to create what? Binary tree index on what? EMP ID. So what is the understanding? On one column, I can create only one type of index. On one column, I can create only one type of index. So unique index algorithm is what? It will not accept duplicate values. It will arrange the data in an ascending order. Okay. Now I'll try to see the sequences. Sorry, try to list the indexes. Earlier the index type was unique. Now I'll try to execute this F8. Good. Yeah, you can see here. Okay. So it is showing something like this. Inverted value. Okay, these are all internal information. You not worry about this. If it is unique index, it is showing it as what? Unique. Now it is saying inverted value so and so. Okay. So yeah, you can see right hand side here. There are some other columns also here. Okay, they are not relevant here. Fine. But what is the concept of this B tree index means? It will arrange the data in what? Binary tree structure. Binary tree structure. Okay. 1 second. Already I opened it. Let me check. Yeah. So this is the concept of B tree index. Just observe here. Yeah, already I opened it from the earlier batches. So see here, B tree index. Assume that so index is what will arrange the data in order. Na? So assume that this is my organized data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is the 7 records I'm having. So what this B tree index, what is the algorithm behind this is, it will pick up the middle value. What is the middle value here? 4. The middle value is what? 4. Try to understand. 4. Then what is one of the value? 2 na? This 2 is less than 4 na? 2 is less than 4. So what happened? Left hand side will add this record. Okay. So left every node will have left child and right child. Remember, left child and right child. So this 2 will be added at the left hand side. Then it will take another value 6 here. Randomly takes that. Okay. 6 is greater than 4 na. That's why it will add it at right hand side. You understood what happens initially? Binary tree index, what it will do? From the list of values, it will identify the middle value. From that middle value, it will keep on adding the data left side at what? Right side. So 2 is less than 4, it is adding it to the left child. 6 is greater than 4, it is adding it to the right child. Done. Now again for this 2, there is one more LCM is left child here. What is that? One is there now, one is less than 2 now, it will add it to the left hand side. 3 is there. 3 is greater than 2 now, so it will add it to the right side. RC means right side. Then again 6 is there. We have 7 now. 7 and 5 is there. 5 is less than 6 now. So like this, it will construct the tree internally. We cannot visualize it physically. This is the algorithm, it will follow internally. It will identify the middle value. Then based on that middle value, it will arrange the data in the binary tree structure. Binary tree structure. You understood all of you here? The concept of this B tree index. And this B tree index, you can see I gave a point there, integers. It is always created on what? Integer columns. It is always created on integer columns. Means, yeah. If you take this table, we have employee designation, which is a what type string. Na? I'll try to create B tree index on that string data type. That is varchar. So I'll say here, create B tree index. I'll give it as something idx5 on e underscore department. What is the column? E name. Na? Ename. Ename is not an integer. So when I execute this, when I say effect, good. Invalid index name, column list is already indexed. Acha, acha. We are getting that error first. So let me try to drop the, because already you can see a unique index is available on the employee name. So I'll try to drop it first. Drop index what? IDX2 or IDX2. So when I execute this, index is dropped. Now I'll try to create the B tree index on what? Employee name column. When I say F8, good, good. What is the error I got? Feature not supported. Cannot create B tree index on what? String data types. Okay. Cannot create B tree index on string data types. Use what? Compress prefix binary tree index. Use so and so. Anyhow, we can create the unique index, but I cannot create the B tree index. I'll do one thing. I'll drop this index also, IDX3. IDX3 is created on what? Salary unique index I created. I'll drop this. Okay. Already I dropped. Sorry. Already I dropped here. Na? Already that's what it's saying. Invalid index name. Done. Anyway, it's not there. So I refresh. IDX3 is not there. Done. Now what I'll do is I'll try to create binary tree index on what? Salary. Salary is what column here? Decimal. Okay, so on this decimal earlier I am able to create the unique index. Na? So I'll try to create now binary tree index on this. I don't think it will allow. It will allow only on integers. I'll give it as something idea 6, for example, on what? Salary. On salary. Done. Let me try to execute this. F8. Good. It is giving an error, cannot create B tree index on string data type. So decimal also, it is considering under what data type? String data type. Okay, use only what? CPB tree index. I can create unique index, but I cannot create what? Binary tree index. I'll try to create CPB tree index now. Create what? How do you create CPB tree index? CPB, yeah. Create CPB tree index. Let me give it as something IDX5 on what? Employee name. Execute this. Effect. Good. We are able to create the CPB tree index on what? Employee name. Working fine. Understood. So what is the understanding? Unique index I can create on what? Any of the columns. It can be integer, character, or what? Decimal, whatever it is. What is the concept of unique index? It will follow what? Unique constraint algorithm. Means it will not accept what? Duplicate values. It will arrange the data in an order. Okay. And then we have another type of index called as B tree index, binary tree index. What is the limitation? Binary tree index can be created only on what? Integers. Can be created only on integers. It cannot be created on varchar columns or decimal columns. Even data also I can create. I cannot create. Only on integers I can create the binary tree index. What is the algorithm of this binary tree index? It will consider the middle value. Then from the middle value, based on that rest of the, it will construct the left child and what? Right child. Binary tree index. Okay. And what is the concept of CPB tree index? Again, this CPB tree index I can create on any column. What is the concept of this compressed prefix binary tree index means here? It is a concept something like this. So it can be created on what? Character types, binary string types, decimal types, all those things. Yeah, I see the concept here. We have two values here, value 1 and value 2. What this CPB tree index algorithm will do is, for this, there can be any number of values. I took only these two values. For these two values, randomly it will add, it will prefix, randomly to prefix some value. So assume that for this value, it has prefixed 111. For this value, it has prefixed what? 112. So what is the concept of indexes? Indexes, it will arrange the data in order. Na? So based on these prefix values, it will arrange the data internally. Understood? What values it will add? Okay, we cannot see that physically. It is only our understanding that compressed prefix B tree index means for every value, it will prefix some random values. It will prefix some values. Okay, based on that values, based on that prefixed values, it will arrange the data in an order. Okay, that is the concept of what? CPB tree index. For every value in the list of values, for every value, it will prefix some values, and internally it will arrange the data based on that particular prefix values. That's all. This is a concept of what? Compressed prefix B tree. So overall, we have three types of indexes: unique, binary tree index, and what? CPB tree index. Any questions? Please ask.
Yes, Sridhar, I have one question on the indexes. But
Mhm.
basically, whatever your custom tables you are defining, you are creating the indexes on custom table. But when we are getting the tables from standard SAP, but the schema, SAP ABAP one, VBAK, VBRK, for those tables we can create the indexes.
Yes, whether it is custom table or standard table, the syntax is same. Same. Here I gave that custom table here. Instead, you can give what? Standard table. Suppose, let me check now only. I'll say create CPB tree index IDX 15. I'll say something on what? SAP ABAP 1. SAP ABAP 1 dot. What is the table name? VBAK.
VBAK, so okay.
I
VB,
believe we have a column called as ERN name. Okay,
okay.
Weblen I am not creating. Simple understanding is Weblen is a primary key field, right? So
Yeah.
based on the primary key field, already unique index is there. Again, we cannot create another type of index on that indexed column. So that's the reason I am doing it on ERN name. Let me check. Execute F8. Invalid table name. Why? No, sorry,
Table.
sorry. Okay, let me F8. Yeah, you can see since there's a huge amount of data already, it is taking some time to create the index because internally it has to arrange the data, na? So
Mm.
it's still processing. Again, creating too many indexes is not suggested. It will degrade the performance because every time a new record is added, okay,
Mm.
index will has to reshuffle the data for arrangement of data, na? So it has to scan the entire table data. That's why creating too many indexes also will degrade the performance. There is no restriction that we have to create only one index or two index, but again, as the index list grows on, it will also degrade the performance. So it's still creating that.
Yeah. Because suppose if already the table have data, so lot of data,
Correct?
So we can create that index when the data is already is there in the table,
Yes.
table.
But again, if you try to create the unique index, okay, unique index, what is the concept? It doesn't accept duplicate values. If already duplicate values are there, it will not allow me to create that particular unique index. But other indexes, yes, I can create.
Okay, you see, this the CPB tree can able
Mhm.
to create the index if it is duplicate values are there.
Yes, yes. Because here assume that we have two values with the same thing. There are two same values, but this prefix value would be different. Okay,
But there is
even though we are, yeah, internally it will maintain the different values, different prefix values. It is still what?
maybe a lot of data there in VBA
Yeah, yeah,
tables.
yes, yes. But yes, we can create the index on standard table also.
Thanks.
Let's wait. Let's wait. It should create.
Yeah, but this
Yeah,
indexes completely on the data definition it will create, correct?
obviously, yes, yes. Yeah. Meanwhile, others, if you have any questions, please ask. Good. You can see here. Is it created? Yeah. You can see create CPB tree index so and so on. It's successfully created.
Yeah.
Okay. So the concept remains same whether it is a standard table or custom table. The concept remains same. But when you're creating the unique index, we should ensure that there are no duplicate values already in the table. If there are duplicate values, first delete the duplicate values and then try to create the unique index.
Yeah, basically for the standard table, we cannot touch the unique keys, correct?
Yeah, again, see, based on the primary key column, already unique index will be there. But assume that you are using the select statement where you are comparing with non-primary key columns. And for that non-primary key columns also, your requirement is you don't want to allow the duplicate value. So I can create what? Unique index. Generally, we don't disturb the primary key indexed column. But other columns, yes, we can control. See here only, 1 second. Suppose Veblen is the primary key there, na? So let me try to query that. Select start from sys dot indexes where schema name equal to what is that? SAP ABAP 1, na? Yeah, ABAP 1 and the table name equal to what is that? VBAK. Let me try to execute this F8. Good, good. You can see here. Yeah, you can see based on the primary key column, what is their unique index is by default available.
Yeah.
Okay, just now I created one more index na IDX 15. IDX 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, one more thing you can see here. What is the index name proposed here for the primary key column? VBAK tilt 0. So this is the name given by what? SAP itself.
Yeah.
SAP itself. Okay, so if you are creating, we'll have better control on that index name.
Yeah. Thank you, Sridhar. Thank you.
Right. So tomorrow what we'll do is we'll see synonyms. Synonyms we are not discussed, na? Yeah, we'll see these synonyms tomorrow. Okay, done. So any question before I wind up, please ask me.
Sir, I have a doubt, but not in this topic.
No problem. Tell me.
While creating a table, sometimes we need to provide the value range uh, to the domain itself. But here, how to provide the value for a table, sir?
We
Means for
don't
a
have
table.
we don't have any concepts for giving a
Mhm.
value range. But as per my knowledge, I have not tried in the HANA database. But if you take other, we have seen the constraints like what primary key constraint, foreign key constraint, and we have seen what the unique constraint, right?
Unique.
Okay, so there's a constraint called as check constraint. Check constraint. So what I can do is alter table. I have not tried this syntax to be fair. You can try it. Add a constraint. Okay, add constraint, some constraint name. Okay, then check in the parentheses. Suppose employee salary is there. Okay, employee salary between 2 and what 2000. So my understanding is it has to create the check constraint on this employee salary where the range should be what between 2 and what 2000. Okay, so we can achieve that functionality by using a check constraint. Okay, so I don't know whether between operator supported or not, or you say employee salary greater than or equal to something 2000 and what like this you can give. So check for this syntaxes. Check constraint.
Check constraint means it will check the values whether in between 1000 or 2000 is available or not. Is it
Yeah,
safe?
yes. Then only it will allow me to insert the record. Okay, so when I'm inserting the record into this table for that particular employee salary, the salary should be what between 1000 to what 2000. If I don't follow that, it will not allow me to what insert the data.
In case if I need to give the static values like yes or
No,
no kind of
no,
thing. Okay.
no, no, not possible. Range only I can give it.
Okay.
Or again, you try that syntax. Employee
Mhm.
salary equal to you set two values S or condition or what employee salary equal to what no. So try this also.
Okay, that means it will check whether it is there or not, but we can't propose the values like yes or no to be fixed in that values.
List of values I cannot propose.
Okay. Okay.
Only range kind of thing I can propose, or you can check the values like this.
Mhm.
Okay, or if you want one more value, like this we can give. But if you want 10 values, I have to give different or 10 different or conditions.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
check, try this. If you don't get, let me do from my end. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any other doubts, others?
No, Sridhar.
Chalo then. Okay. So thanks everyone. We'll continue tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.